Park in my loading bay, enjoy getting your car off a stack of pallets. As a teenager, I worked on an island at a grocery store as the store receiver. Technically, I was the night receiver, but I worked 9 to 6 p.m. and was in charge of receiving the most important truck of the day, getting it unloaded, all our garbage and returns and extra pallets, cardboard, etc. loaded, and back out the door in time for it to drive halfway around the island and catch the same ferry it had come on before it left. So time was of the absolute essence. The island is a pretty chill place in the winter, but in the summer, it is a rich man's playground. And we often got people parking in our loading bay. So 30 minutes before the truck comes, I always put out 3-foot tall cones. One day, a lady in a red convertible decides to push aside one of the cones and parks directly in our loading bay. I saw her do it and ran out after her, telling her to move. She refused and went into that store anyhow, claiming, "I know Danny's store owner, and he said it was fine." Well, I also knew Danny and knew he didn't say it was fine. But after making repeated announcements and instructing all the cashiers not to let her check out and pay until she moved the car, she came fuming out and moved her car. The next morning, the store owner, Danny, asked me what happened, and I told him exactly what I had done as the truck was on its way. He told me that was fine, and he would speak to her. Surprise, surprise. She did in fact know Danny, but he hadn't given her permission to arc in our dock. He did ask me not to tow her car, as she was his neighbor, but said since it was a convertible, he didn't see why we couldn't pull her e-brake and push it out of the way, which sure enough is exactly what we did a week later when she again parked in between my cones and then facing the loading bay door, where I was giving her a clear look, flipped me off. I went inside, got a couple other grocery guys, and after releasing the handbrake on her little red convertible, just pushed it straight across the parking lot. It barely gave enough room for our truck to get in, and she was completely blocked in for 30 minutes while I unloaded it. She came into the back of the store as I was unloading trucks and in order to stop a pallet from hitting her. The loading bay was at a wicked angle. I had to jam my foot under the pallet jack wheels, causing it to jump over my steel toes and land on my foot. I screamed at her to get out of my loading bay, and she was so shocked she actually did. Well, the next afternoon, when I came in to get some things I needed to finish reporting, which I could do from home, as my shift manager had already approved a couple days off to heal my foot, Danny didn't know any of this yet, as he had just arrived and immediately asked to speak to me.